Say shoot to kill Nyamazan. We are commanding Nyamazan to shoot and kill.
So it is a command to shoot and kill?
Yes.
Let's continue to
You also want me to interpret the language you hear?
Yes, just so we can.
Kiss the Boer, kiss the farmer. I thought it's English.
It is?
Yes.
And what does that mean?
It means kiss.
Kiss how? You said that the first verse that we did are an instruction to kill. The second lyric is an instruction to kiss on the lips. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, why?
Not. I didn't say the lips. You see, and my Lord is here. I said I didn't say the lips, so it can be on the forehead with the lips. Yes.
Now, why those two things together?
Which ones?
Why a command to kill and then a command to kiss?
It's a chant. You can put anything. It's a concoction of anything. So there are even other chants where words are not even used. So there's a chant, my Lord, when you want to put a new song, so you're singing and you are introducing a new song, you put a chant just of Dio, 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 Mama, Dio. If someone was said to me, interpret that, I can't, because you just put that chant in between to prepare those who are singing with you that you are now bringing a new song. So you throw words as you want.
So it's random.
It's random at that, but at all times, the leadership has got a message to deliver with that.
What's that message?
Best. So Roots will not have that appreciation because the black people Roots know the first black person he saw is a domestic worker in his house when he grew up. The second black person he saw was a security guard at the gate when he got out. The third black person he saw was a cashier at the shop owned by white people. The fourth black person he saw was the cleaners where he went to school. Those are the blacks he has had an interaction with. And he thinks of us like that because that is his exposure to black people. And therefore, always characterizing us as non-thinkers, as baboons, as people who can't think. That's why if they hear a leader says, kill the Boer, they can go into the house and take machete and go and kill people. Because these are non-thinkers. That's how they view us, that's how they characterize us. It's unfortunate that we find ourselves in a society where we coexist with such people who look at us and who think of us like that. We don't think like that about them. Our leaders never thought of like that about them. Despite the fact that they engaged in genocide of black people when they came here, despite conquering us in the wars of dispossession, despite killing kids in 1976 and in the 80s, we don't think of them like that. We never thought of them like that, but they think like that about us. That's very bad.
During evidence in chief, Mr. Roots testified about some of the speeches that you have given, in which you describe white people as visitors in South Africa. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Now, how do you reconcile this constitutional notion that South Africa belongs to all who live in it and that white people are visitors in South Africa?
You arrived here as settlers in 1652. It's a historical fact. And you were using South Africa as a refreshment station. You were not here to settle. You were passing. Because of our Africanness and the spirit of Ubuntu, we have embraced you, and we have shared our land with you, and we have accepted that you have naturalized in this country. But it doesn't change the fact that you came here as a visitor.
So let me ask you that. Let's clarify that.
Yes.
Do you accept that there are many people in South Africa, black and white, Indian colored, Chinese, who came to South Africa from another country at some point?
And not blacks. Not blacks. We came from one country called Africa. Huh?
I understand. So in other words, the claim is anyone who is on the continent of Africa belongs in South Africa. Is that correct? Was not a visitor.
No. South Africa is Africa. We are one country called Africa. This South Africa you're talking about was imposed on us. So we didn't come from anywhere. Speak for yourself. We didn't come from anywhere. There's no African who came from anywhere. We came from here. I mean, my Lord, I cannot come from the second bedroom in this house, and then I find you in another bedroom in the same house, and then you say I came from somewhere. In the same house. I didn't come from somewhere. I was sleeping on the other side. We're here. No, land. We own land. Yes, and that which is on top of the land belongs to you. But for you to develop that on top of our land, you will have to come and explain that here I want to open an industry. And then we'll say to you, you cannot open an industry here because this is an agricultural land. For security, for food security, we think there are areas that are allocated for such purpose and then relocate to an appropriate place for what you want to do. That belongs to you. It doesn't belong to the state. But the state ownership of the land then gives our people an opportunity to equally participate in the economy of South Africa.
So let me give you an example then. From what I understand as well, you've said that this policy of expropriation or compensation affects people black and white. In other words, you think the state should have custodian of all land, whether you're black or white, the state will be custodian of it, and then we'll have control over what you can do with that land. If you're a tenant, is that correct?
Yeah?
A tenant.
No, you can't be tenant on your own land.
No. Because you said there would be no private ownership of land whatsoever. Right? All land would be owned by the state.
You can't be a tenant on your own land. Are you a tenant of your water? Are you renting the water that you drink? It's owned by the state, but it still belongs to you. You know why? Because you know you are the state. You are South Africa. And therefore you cannot be a tenant on your own land. It belongs to you.
So in other words, the state holds it on behalf of the people. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
That the people and the state are synonymous.
We are one thing. Yes. A democratically elected state will be based on the will of the people to handle the affairs of the state on their behalf and for their own benefit.
Yes.
That's a democratic state.
So now let me